right?
Yes, yep, just the other side of Lowell, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, we are like small world. Everybody knows where everybody
Yeah.
is. That's good.
Yes.
All right, so we are in present. I think I'm gonna share this with my page, and you're welcome to do that. Share to
Yeah, we are
friends.
live now, so you can
Yes.
record it.
Hello, everyone. Feel free to
Yeah.
share, Lauren. Um, Happy Thursday. It's almost like Friday to us because we don't have a Friday. So Thursday is our Friday.
Amazing.
I know, yeah, right? I mean, I love that. And I'm looking toward not having anything to do on a Friday, like for real. But right now, not yet. So glad to have everybody here with us. Today is Thursday, and we are having another gorgeous conversation. And our guest here today with us is Lauren DAgostino. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, good job.
So Lauren's gonna indulge us with why she fell in love with plant-based. And I am in the transitional of my mindset stage. So it's really critical for me to keep hearing all of this wonderful way to get healthy. So we want to share, Lawrence, with everyone who's watching about why we should considering into a healthier diet if we want to love ourselves. Right, Lawrence?
Yes, exactly. So February is the month of love, as we know, right? And so what better way to show our bodies and our
Yes,
souls that we love them than by the food that we're eating. So
exactly.
yeah,
Right.
I totally
Exactly.
love.
So it is critical to listen to this conversation. So we invite you to a chair, grab your friends, your spouses, your kid, because we're going to talk a lot about the way that we enjoy eating and why we should eat the stuff that is healthier for us. So Sarah, how are you?
I'm good.
Sarah is also a healthy coach, healthy person. So she's definitely would can have some input in there too. So,
Yeah.
but like everything else, we're gonna kick off the show with Sarah. So Sarah, can you tell us who we are, who you are, and then who we are?
Yes. All right. Do you want to record the show?
Oh yes, thank you for reminding. I'm always like I thought I'm on top of the game, but always it's good to have another pairs of eyes and ears and
Sure. Yeah. Let me kick off the show. The sun just hit my camera and it's
uh, don't disappear on us.
okay. All right. So, ah, anyway, hello everyone. It's good to be back, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Sarah M. Let me let me introduce myself very quickly. I grew up in Cambodia. I started out in the countryside, beautiful life, and when I reached college age, I need to leave home. I need to go far away from home, attend college. And while I was there, horrible thing happened to Cambodia. That's when the communist regime took over our country. And when they came in, they start to turn our life upside down. They push us out of our home, out of the city, and force us to work extremely hard, exhausted, starved, and sick. And our country was pretty much destroyed. And I was nearly dead. I was fighting for my life, but thank goodness for the love of my family. It keep me going, keep me strong. I have that hope that one of these days I will be home. So that's the power of love. It has saved my life. So that's all I can say. And I survived that horrible 4 years, and I escaped from the communist regime and also finally escaped out of the country. I found my way to United States, and I never look back. This is a beautiful place. It's a safe, and um, the people are wonderful. So I'm just so grateful that I'm able to be here, and look forward to share some of the lesson I learned from the hard time, and hopefully it can help some of our audience. And I have my book written, and it's available on my website. You can go to my website, saraim.com, SARAIM.com, and you will find my book there. And I'm also an inspirational speaker. So if you ever need somebody to inspire your audience, reach out to either one of us, Lee or myself. We can do that job, right, Lee?
Absolutely. Be happy to. We love to inspire people in any way, shape, or form because I think this world is we need more people to show love, to share love, and to inspire other people to do better things. Um, just going to be a quick introduction for myself. My name is Lee Tran. If you have not met me for the last 9, 10 months already, we've been here pretty much regularly 3 times a week now this year, but it was 5 times a week last year. Yeah, it was vigorous. But anyhow, my background is uh, very similar but yet different with Sarah. I came from Vietnam, which is the neighbor country of Cambodia. I, my family and all the people in the South Vietnam experienced the same thing that Sarah did. Communists took over in 1975, and from 75 to 79, we have very little food that's available to us in like the normal sense. We can still buy a lot of stuff in the black market, but meat is expensive in a sense that that's good and bad because good because we couldn't eat a lot of meat. Um, in a way, now is good, but back then, meat is luxury. So we actually did eat a lot of vegetable, except I wasn't into vegetable when I was young. I picked every green stuff out of my bowl. And it took me a long time. By the time I get to America, then I start to discover, eating raw salad. I was like, "Ugh," with dressing and, a bunch of other stuff, So I don't know how healthy was that. But I'm derailing. But the point is, it took us quite a trip to get to America because we escaped out to the sea and got pirates and, starving for 7 days and also near death several times. So the journey wasn't easy, but once we get to America, we are in the abundant country where meat is actually sometimes, I would say, cheaper than vegetable in some places. So we're back into. I mean, I love to eat. I'm a meat lover, and so is my husband. So it's really hard to transition from talking about plant-based or vegetable, even though we're doing a lot better now than when I was young. So when I meet friends who said that whatever food that grows them out, that what make them want to stay away from the animal product, and I just couldn't understand until so many people who have cancer, their loved one have cancer, and they stepped away and they found healthier, more energy, more things in life. So that's why we have Lawrence today. But and one quick one, if you want to find out about my story, you can go to my website, leetran.com. Simple as that. I have a TEDx talk, I have a book. Just feel free to browse around. But the topic today is about help loving yourself and trying to find a way to make your life longevity longer, so you can be around to give love for your family. And Lawrence here, actually, just funny because Lawrence did live like a little bit not too far from where I am now at one period of time. But Lawrence, so glad that you can be here and share with us your experience and the reason that why you're choosing not to stay consuming animal products. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here. Hi, everyone. Lauren DAgostino, plant-based chef and cooking confidence coach, helping people fall in love with their definition of plant-based success. So plant-based in my world does not have to mean plant exclusive. I think more people need to, kind of like you were saying, Lee, really soften into the mindset, right? And really embracing a plant-based lifestyle, and just using that word, if it even sometimes still means that in your own home 20% or 10% of the time you might enjoy some animal products too, if that's still where you're at. So cheering yourself on kind of in that way, and in thinking and believing that plant-based does not always have to mean plant exclusive. Now that's only true pretty much inside your own home for the most part. When you see plant-based on products or plant-based on restaurants, it usually does mean vegan, but vegan does not always mean healthy. So when I was going through my own transition, kind of going from the pastry world, believe it or not, I did not always eat so healthy and not always so plant focused. I just noticed my body was feeling numb physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Like I just felt like the foods that I was eating, the ones I was prioritizing, really the ones I could just get my hands on, they weren't doing anything for my body. And so I knew to bring that sense of vitality back into my being, that I had to do that with the food I was eating. And so lucky for me, at the time I was living in Florida and I had access to beautiful produce all year round. But I was really slow and intentional with my transition. And in doing that, I was able to make it sustainable, to make it so that I went plant-based and I stayed there, right? How often have we gone?
You have given me hope. You have given me hope.
Good. Yeah. It's such a funny thing when people tell me that they want to go plant-based, and I almost always ask them, well, would you like to stay there? And if the answer is yes, then you've got to think of it as a transition, and that each time you eat a meal is an opportunity to vote for your health, to prioritize your health now and your health in the future. So, the concept of food as self-care or food as self-love, which I'm sure we'll get into, but that's such a special consideration and a really unique perspective, because we get the opportunity to eat multiple times a day, right? We're so fortunate in this country. Food is
now that we're home right next to the kitchen too.
Totally. Right. So just seeing your meals in that way, that our bodies do so much for us without us having to think about it, without us really being aware of all the things that are happening inside our skin. And so when we eat food, it's an opportunity to show our bodies how much we love them. So that's kind of the perspective that I take. It's something that I really fully embody now, and it's what I teach other people how to do through my kitchen confidence programs.
Well, I am excited because I really want you to shed a light, because a lot of people are thinking, when you eat vegetable, you have to prepare them, you have to wash them, you have to cut them, you have to find a creative way to cook them. And so just so easy to buy a big pizza, something Kentucky Fried Chicken, like a bucket, and come home and then you have a family enjoying it. But it's just so much unhealthy in those processed food and those fast foods that many of us, I have to say that I'm guilty as charged too. Every now and then I like to indulge myself, not cooking, but knowing that going constantly on that route is not going to be good for your arteries. So is there a simple way that can make it fun and tasty, and with vegetable that you have to buy fresh and you have to cook fresh? So
yeah, absolutely. So a practice that I love to teach people, and one that I practice myself, is called batch cooking. And so the concept is simple in that you purchase whatever pantry staples, things that stay on the shelf, for a long time, things like rice and spices and, maybe some different condiments and different sorts of things, canned of beans or dried beans, all that type of stuff. And then you're really just shopping every week for your fresh produce. And so I think what happens when we go grocery shopping, especially here in the States, I mean, the shopping carts are gigantic. Most people fill them to the top or overflowing, and they have all the best intentions when they purchase whatever handfuls of fresh ingredients, but often they go bad. We just can't eat them fast enough. So I think a lot of people are wasting a lot of food as well. And so in embracing the batch cooking practice, basically what you do, or kind of what I do is, I'll go to the store multiple times a week to get my fresh produce, but I'll buy so much less than I might normally because it's fresher that way, right? It's more enjoyable that way, and the nutrients are better.
Right.
But what I'll do when I get home is I'll take, for example, a bunch of kale, kind of the larger, the kale that most people don't like.
Yeah.
So I'll strip the leaves off the stem, and then I'll either chop them real thin with a knife, or I'll use my food processor. I'm a big advocate for letting your appliances do the work for you. So I'll put in the blade insert and shred it through. And then I've got a beautiful shredded kale that lasts actually for a couple of weeks typically. And I can add that to everything. It's my greens. When I make tacos, I add it to pasta. I use a plant-based pasta that's high in protein, or I add it to a salad or a power bowl or a stir fry. I mean, I'm eating all sorts of things that regular people eat, except I'm swapping the ingredients. They're high vibe, they're nutrient dense, and they're so much better for you. It's phenomenal how much better you can feel, even like emotionally speaking too. I would say, like, I've never felt like I'm more in tuned with my emotions, and like my general emotional range has never been so on the positive spectrum. Sure, I still dip like everybody does into the, into some of what you would call like negative emotions, but I really think the food has played a big role in that. And so when you're thinking about cooking with vegetables, for me, batch cooking is a huge part of that. The other thing that I'll say quickly is that the variety in color and in texture is really important as well. So each meal, you have the opportunity to create something beautiful with as many different colors as you possibly can. Hopefully with focus on green veggies are generally the best, and kind of the darker, the better. But it's really quite simple. And then by embracing this batch cooking practice and really more of the intuitive cooking, you're able to go into your kitchen and look at what you have to say, oh, the tomatoes, they're aging faster than my zucchini that I just purchased. So whatever I make for dinner tonight, I'm going to use these tomatoes, right? So it allows you to throw less food away when you start to just put awareness on the vegetable and its many, many uses. They're so versatile. And it's so much fun.
It is. I think, there's so many facts that we can talk about. I don't even think that half an hour is going to be touched the surface. But eating is a process, right? Everything is a habit. And transitioning to a healthier diet would not able to take like a week or even a month, because I know that my husband and I wean out of carb, because, there's a period of time that carb is bad. So we're Asian. We eat rice every day. Rice is like the staple. So we cook food and we do rice as a main. So we cut the rice, and sometimes we do rice as like a little bit on the side. So we stay away from rice, but we're still going with meat. And now we're cutting meat. We make meat on the little side and make vegetable as a main dish. So, I mean, you just got to swap in. I don't know about you, Sarah, but it's a long process for me. And I love the fact that what you said is I do the same thing. I only buy enough for a week, like vegetable. And what I do is, if I have things in the refrigerator that's I know that I wouldn't get to it for the next couple of days, like my roots, I love taro root. I love, substitute for potatoes, and I love yam. And I would cut them and I will freeze them. If I couldn't get to them, I freeze them for a week or two. You can actually, get them fresh. And like you said, tomatoes, if you're going to go bad soon, why don't you just saute it? And you can store an extra couple days, right? So I love the batching. So Saturday and Sunday are usually my day that I go shopping, and I will come home. I would prepare all my carrots. I will shred it, cut it, put it in a container, put it in the refrigerator. And every day, whatever I want to eat, I just take it out. I don't even need to chop it, because I already did that on Saturday and Sunday. So I think I am in the slow process of transforming my habit, and I think it's in the right direction. And I do so with the meat. So we do have a lot of meat still that I blame it for COVID, because we keep saying, store's gonna go out of stuff. You gotta buy, and you can store meat longer than you can store vegetable. So so now, just trying to balance out. But I think it is so much fun. Someday I would love to invite you. You are a chef, right? So we think maybe someday we can even have like something that you prepare and show to our audience how you do it, how you managing it. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I would love to. I love to do cooking demos because a lot of people, I think, have this perception of plant-based cooking or even vegan cooking. That's the
Yeah,
lifestyle that I practice personally. They think that it's going to take so much more time, that it's going to be really difficult, more expensive. And so often the big joy for me is just showing them that that's
yeah.
not true, letting them into the kitchen with me so they can see, oh, okay, I see what she's doing. I can do that. So would love that.
That's so good. I even plant kale in my backyard, and I love my kale a lot more than the kale from the supermarket. And I
Yeah.
have to tell you, it took, I think 20 years ago, it took me to have to take a cooking class in order to learn how to eat kale because I would shy away from all the like really deep greens and stuff like that in the supermarket. But now I'm addicted to kales. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to take the stems out, but I put it in green smoothie. I put it in my rice. I put it in my stir fries. I put it in everything, my soup, my everything. It's like it
Good.
tastes really good.
Good. Yay. That's music to my ears. And do you cook
Uh,
with the stem too? Do you cook with the stem also?
no, the only thing the stem is chewy and
Yeah.
the
Okay.
stem
You
is
got to save those.
hard.
You got to save those. I want to challenge you or invite
Ooh,
you to save the stems and chop them really small. And then you can add that to soup or a stew
oh,
and you won't even notice because it'll cook
really?
along and get soft. Yeah.
I cheat a little bit. I can put them in the blender to do my green smoothie, but I
Yeah.
still can taste that
You can still taste it. Yeah.
hardiness. Yeah, 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 in the
Yeah,
smoothie,
yeah.
but
I
in the
heard
soup. Hmm.
I heard that kale you need to cook it.
Yeah, the
Oh
stems
yeah.
benefit from cooking. And then I would say too on smoothies, I love to put kale in my smoothies too, but I use baby kale. That tends to
Mm.
process a lot better than those
I
big.
use a lot of celery because my husband used to have gout. So they say that celery is anti-inflammatory. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of celery and I put half a banana, an apples and some cantaloupe or some papaya or some mangoes. Make a
Yum.
really beautiful. And I went to the place that you used to work in Winter Garden.
Yeah.
I order a smoothie from them and they taste so good. It's just like, you know what? I think it's a matter of training your taste bud,
It
training your
is.
mouth.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And so many of us are consuming tons of processed food, tons of extra sugar, tons of extra salt. And so in doing that, it kind of puts a film over our taste buds. So we're not able to taste the true depth of flavor and the true natural sweetness or the natural acidity and the tartness of fruits and vegetables. And when we start to remove those foods, we start to fall in love with natural foods again.
It's
It's really
hard to eat
amazing.
outside anymore because everything is like over salt, over
Yeah.
grease. Um, Even in Asia, I went to Malaysia and Singapore last year, and everything they cook, like you see nothing but like the very thick spice, very spicy and very salty. And my husband and I was like, oh my God, like we try to be healthy at home. We stay away from salt. I actually literally put the date on my salt container and to see how long I can keep that iodized salt because we got a lot of history in the family: diabetes, high blood pressure, you name it, we got it. Cancer, yeah, my uncle got colon cancer. So I mean, like we look around, it's all front, all the sickness. We don't want to live to 100, but we want to have quality life when we are alive,
Right.
right? So it's really critical to have the energy that you need. Um, so there you go. I really enjoy people that like you work in the bakery and be able to get out of it and dive into it. So, are you completely plant based in your diet, or you kind of like
Yep. No, I'm fully plant exclusive or vegan. So no animal products for me. I also stay away from processed sugar. I avoid gluten. Just kind of over the years, I've found that those things don't really work for me. I don't really crave sugar in the way that I used to. I actually find it now quite sweet. I just even went to the dentist today after not going for like over 2 years, but I was excited to go because I knew,
You
things
don't
should
have cavities.
yeah, I don't have cavities because I'm just not eating those
Stay away
foods
from.
anymore.
Yeah.
Uh,
How about dairy stuff? I know eggs, cheese. Those are like okay, yummy.
I know. Yeah, so I don't eat any eggs, and I don't eat dairy cheese, but I eat a ton of plant-based cheese. I actually just shared earlier today on my Facebook page.
And baked cheese. Oh,
Yeah,
you gotta educate me. What
yeah,
is the
so
plant-based cheese?
it's made with cashews in most cases. Sometimes macadamia nuts. I've made some ricotta cheese out of tofu. You can use almonds in some plant-based cheeses, coconut for others. And so basically there's,
Those cheese.
yeah, so you can find plant-based cheese at Whole Foods Market or online. There's a couple of brands that I really love. Lately I've been making my own, kind of doing some dinner party testing. I do some in-person events, which are really fun.
Oh,
Yeah, and so
let's
plant-based
do
cheese,
that. Let's set sometime in the summer or sometime that you have the schedule. I would
perfect.
love to have a demo cooking with you in your kitchen and show us a couple dishes that you easy for people to follow and they can have fun making it with their family.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah. And then for anyone too who's wondering how they can ditch dairy, that was the last kind of food group that I was holding on to when I was transitioning myself into a fully vegan diet. So I was like really patient with that process because our brains find
Yeah.
dairy so addictive, right? So over the course of several years, I tried a bunch of different products, a bunch of different recipes, and I've figured out which ones I really love, which ones work well, which ones perform well. And so back in the spring of last year, I compiled everything, all my favorite things into an ebook. It's called How to Ditch Dairy. You can find it on my website. Yeah, so
Wow.
it gives you kind of the shortcut. It's a real pretty magazine style ebook with
Is
tons of
it a free
pictures.
download for people?
It's not a free download anymore
It's
'cause
not a free
it's
that's
it's
fine.
pretty
I'm
big.
just
Yeah. Yep.
okay. Okay.
Pretty big. So
Well,
includes
feel free
products.
to put it there. So if anybody want to purchase it, I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, I'll put the link in. It includes products, it includes some recipes, and then what I like to do with it, because some cheese is better for melting, some is better for snacking,
Mm.
that sort of thing.
Just funny that I don't know about Sarah, but in Vietnam we were not trained to drink milk or eat cheese.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
just not something that we do.
no,
So
we
coming
don't
to
have any.
America, yeah, coming to America, you gotta drink milk. You want to grow. I mean, I already passed that growth period. It's like, I'm already 5 years too late.
That's
When I
why
come to America,
we
I
are.
finally get to a point that I enjoy drinking milk. And then it's like, milk is bad for you. It's like, what
Yeah.
the heck? So I have been drinking soy milk or coconut milk or almond milk for the last, I don't know, 8 years or so. I don't know, is that healthy or is that not? But I wean it from like a whole, to 2% and then slowly skim milk. But then now I'm doing mostly coconut milk and soy milk. Now they were saying that you have soy cheese as well, right?
Yeah, yep. Soy milks are used to make cheese too, definitely. And then like as far as milk goes, yeah, lots of people are drinking milk and you just don't need to. We don't need it.
Soy good. It's soy good.
Um, yeah, and I mean organic soy is a better choice. I try to use soy in my kitchen pretty sparingly, and I much prefer to have like edamame or soy as soy sauce, different sorts of things. So like it's not something that I reach for. But drinking glasses of milk is pretty unnecessary. Water or if there's some tea that you like or some citrus in your
Right.
water, different things like that are
And you can substitute cooking with those soy milk or any of those milk with the regular milk. And you
Yeah, sometimes it depends on what the recipe is. There's, I
Mhm.
think, like 11 or so different plant-based milks to choose from.
Uh-huh.
And so some of them are better than others. So for example, when you're making something that the milk in the recipe helps it to thicken,
Right.
swapping almond milk isn't going to work.
No,
Almond
it's
milk
not.
is too thin. Cashew
Right.
milk, on the other hand, cashew milk or oat milk, even soy milk in that case, although I find soy milk to be kind of sweet sometimes.
Mhm.
There's a perfect plant-based milk for each kind of type of function of traditional dairy milk.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
so much to dip into. I think
Yeah.
this is just like the tip of the iceberg, right? I mean, it's just like there's so much more beneath that we need to understand. But I think, if anybody loves themselves, they have to start considering, even if you're not transitioning to a completely plant-based, I don't know when I will reach that stage because, like I said, it is really hard. But at least you cut down a certain percentage every month or every week. You start progressing. That's still bringing health to you. Just listen to Dr. Neil Bernard, right?
Yeah.
Bernard.
Yep. He's
Listen
fantastic.
to his YouTube educational. Oh my God, that is the guy that if you want to think about loving your family and cook them healthy meals and loving yourself so you have more energy, to have fun with your family, I would highly recommend check him and then check Lauren's website. And, maybe sometime in the future, we're going to do something more fun, more hands on. What do you think?
Would love to. Would be so fun.
Sounds good.
That's awesome. But thank you so much. This is the month of love, and it's nothing better than expressing love over the joy of having food with our family, but knowing that we're serving not poison to our family
Yes.
is a lot better. It's a better love than I know. Sometimes it's just a moment of enjoyment because we train our mouth that we love all this greasy stuff. And I have to say, yeah, I'm not a perfect mom. I do that to please my child, my children, my husband, yeah, my children, and myself. But there's never too late to check out the healthier method. So thank you, Lawrence. Anything else that you want to tell us, or how do we find you, or any last word?
Yeah, kind of back to circle on kind of that point of transition, and each little improvement you make will make a difference. And even, kind of as I know that you're transitioning yourself, Lee, is just take it one meal at a time. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You're practicing plant-based cooking and living. You're practicing letting your body guide you to the right foods. You're practicing cooking them in a way that's enjoyable for you, and it's a journey, truly, and it's one that you'll be on hopefully for the rest of your life.
For a long time.
Yeah, exactly, for a long,
Yeah.
long time.
And I'm actually going back to eat a little more carbs now because, like, I was trying to stay away from carb, and I read and it's like, well, carb is actually not bad for you. But everything is to the modesty, right? I mean, you're trying to eat not fruit, vegetable, legume, and roots. I'm baking roots too, like purple yams and different type of yams. I love those yucca roots. I don't
Yeah.
know if they're good or bad, but I love to make curry with that and taro roots. So have fun, explore. Just don't think that you have to do it overnight. I
Exactly.
think that give yourself a year, slowly transition, and then the next year bring it to the next level.
Yep.
And I'm sure Lauren didn't just switch it overnight either. So we have hope.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Take your time.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll really enjoy this time with you, and looking forward to a future demo in your chef face.
Sounds good. Look forward to it. Thanks again for having me.